How's it going, guys? So, according to reports, WBA and IBF cruiserweight champion Denis Lebedev has been mandated to face Murat Gassiev, his mandatory challenger. Now, this fight's being talked about taking place in November, and I have to say, this is a fantastic fight. Fantastic fight. If you guys haven't seen Murat Gassiev fight, then you need to check him out. The dude is a beast. Put it that way. The dude is a badass. He's one of the most powerful punchers in the sport, pound for pound. I mean, his last fight, he fought a guy called Jordan Schimmel, and the left hook that he took Schimmel out with in the second round, let's just say, it would have knocked any fighter in the sport out had it landed. I mean, it was just an absolute fucking brutal shot, devastating. The guy has absolute one punch knockout power, just a huge puncher. Before that, he fought a guy called Aisha Thomas. It's a no contest, but there was some bullshit there because what happened there was he caught Aisha Thomas on the bell at the end of one of the early rounds, and according to Aisha Thomas's corner, they protested. They claimed that it was after the bell when really it was on the bell. Aisha Thomas couldn't continue. His brain was scrambled. He was on his stool and he was basically out of it. He couldn't continue in the fight, so they ruled the fight a no contest. But really, I would consider that a win. I would consider that a knockout victory for the guy. So yeah, the guy's just an absolute beast. I mean, if you haven't watched the fight, go and check him out. Guy's an absolute fucking monster. And yeah, he's going to be going in. Supposedly, the fight isn't signed yet, but supposedly for November, he's going to be fighting Denis Lebedev in Russia. Both of these guys are from Russia, although Gassiev, his most recent fights have been on PBC, I believe. They've been in America. But he still lives in Russia. He still trains in Russia. Both of these guys are from Russia, so likelihood is the fight's going to be in Russia. Now, Denis Lebedev, he's been in the sport forever. This dude, he's been around for a long time. I can remember watching him back in 2010, I believe it was, when he fought Roy Jones, and then a while later he fought James Toney. Now I know those guys were past their prime, but the fashion that he beat them in was quite impressive. He knocked Roy Jones Jr. unconscious. He handily beat James Toney on points, and James Toney, he's not a guy that's easy to stop. Okay, so you wouldn't expect a fighter who is below heavyweight to really stop James Toney. He has tremendous defense even in his old age. He's still very durable, still a good survivor. So I thought it was a good performance. I mean, I thought Lebedev looked good in the fight. He had a horrible fight against Guillermo Jones, where he was doing well in the fight, but he just sustained too much of an injury to his eye. His eye swelled up like a balloon. It was fucking horrible, and they had to pull him out. And I believe it was the 11th round they stopped him in that fight. So yeah, it was a complete bloodbath. Horrible fight to watch. Uh, when I say that, I mean if you were squeamish, it would be horrible to watch. But yeah, he also had a fight against Marco Huck, which I believe was his first defeat. Now, he lost the fight by a split decision, but the majority of people had Lebedev winning the fight. It was close, it was competitive. I did watch the fight a long time ago on YouTube. I can't exactly remember how I scored it, but from what I saw, it was a competitive fight, but I had the feeling that Lebedev just got the better of it, and Marco Huck's a very, very difficult guy to deal with. He's a big, strong, tough, hard man. So, yeah, to go over to Germany and lose a very, very close decision against Marco Huck. It really isn't surprising. As I said, the only other defeat on Denis Lebedev's record was against Guillermo Jones. And I forgot to mention, too, that Guillermo Jones was actually juiced up to the eyeballs for that fight. He got popped for steroids, and I believe they reinstated Lebedev as the champion after that. But yeah, Lebedev, he's experienced. He's been around for a while. He's in his late 30s now. He's a veteran and he's a unified champion. His last fight was one of the best performances of his career. It was against Victor Ramirez, who was the IBF champion, and Denis Lebedev just took the dude apart in 2 rounds, just methodically broke him down and stopped him. It was an easy fight, and I was actually surprised by how quick he got him out of there. I was expecting that fight to go to the later rounds. But yeah, Denis Lebedev, he showed his experience. He's a very, very technically gifted fighter. He's fundamentally sound, and he's a good thinker. He's got good technique in the ring. He's a good fighter, Lebedev, and you can tell his skills are actually, even though he's later on in his career now, his skills are coming together nicely, and he's looking, at least in terms of technique, he's looking better than ever at the moment. Now, uh, going into this fight, this is a fight that, again, if the fight's not signed yet, but if this fight happens, going into it, I actually don't know who to pick, because you've got Gassiev, who is just a fucking, like I said, just punching power. The guy's a fucking monster, just a very, very strong, powerful, imposing guy that can really take you out as soon as he lands a clean shot. And he's much younger, got much more energy at this stage than Lebedev. Like I said, Lebedev has been in some very difficult fights. He's a much older, he's a lot less fresh at this stage, but he does bring a lot of experience to the table. So, I'm intrigued by the fight. I hope this fight goes ahead. However, there is one thing that may stop this fight going ahead, and that is I believe the WBA tried to order a fight between Babet Shumanov, but that never materialized, because I think instead of mandating the fight, they decided to just elevate Babet Shumanov to the state of regular champion, something like that. I don't even pay attention to this kind of thing, so I could be wrong, but the last I checked, I'm pretty sure that Babet Shumanov has been made the full WBA champion now, so um, Lebedev, I guess that means, is the super champion. I know it's total BS. In boxing, things don't have to make sense. But yeah, I believe Gassiev is the IBF mandatory, and the IBF are ordering this fight, and I really hope so. I think that this is a better fight than the Shumanov fight. However, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Shumanov too. I think that Shumanov, he doesn't have anywhere near the kind of punching power that Gassiev has, but he certainly has experience. He's been in the ring with a lot of quality operators. He's fought Bernard Hopkins. He fought Gabriel Campillo, who's a very awkward guy to fight. Obviously, that's at a lower division, but I always felt that he was bigger than light heavyweight. He was very big for the weight, and he seems to suit cruiserweight. He did beat BJ Flores last time out, so yeah, and BJ Flores is getting a world title shot against Tony Bellew, so Babet Shumanov is certainly an interesting addition to the cruiserweight division, and I certainly wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Lebedev fight Shumanov, but I have to be honest. I think that the Gassiev fight, it appeals to me more, because I think it's a more explosive fight. It's a fight that's a guaranteed knockout, perhaps, because, like I said, Gassiev guy's just a beast. Okay, he's in there to take your head off. He ain't in there for points. He's in there to knock you senseless. All right, that Jordan Schimmel fight, I really hope that dude's all right, because that left hook looked as if it could have took his head off, man. Just pure power. And Aisha Thomas too, got fucked by that. It was a straight right hand. I remember watching it, just a huge concussive straight right hand down the middle, and the guy was just out on his feet and out on his stool. So, this dude, if he catches Denis Lebedev with a straight right hand or with a left hook, Denis Lebedev is going to be in serious trouble. But the question is, will he? Because Denis Lebedev is a far more experienced fighter than anybody that Gassiev has fought yet. Denis Lebedev obviously has been in with big punchers before. As I said, he's been in with Guillermo Jones. He's been in there with Marco Huck. The guy's been in with guys that can punch. So being up against a guy that can punch hard isn't anything new for him. However, I don't think he's been in with anybody who hits quite as hard as this guy. I think this guy just fucking one of the hardest punchers in the cruiserweight division, if not the hardest puncher in the cruiserweight division. And you might say, oh, well, who's he fought? He's probably not fought guys that are good. But look, if you look at his record, he's fought several guys that were undefeated. Okay, Aisha Thomas, I believe, was 15-0. Jordan Schimmel only had one defeat. He fought a guy that only had 9 defeats over in Germany. He knocked that guy out. The guy's been around for he's been a good prospect, and he has knocked out some fairly decent prospects alongside it. So I do think that this guy is legit. I honestly do. I think if you put him in there with the other champions, I mean, I would take him over Tony Bellew, hands down. If Murat Gassiev got in the ring with Tony Bellew, despite the gap in experience, I would take Gassiev in that fight any day. I think he would knock Tony Bellew into next week. I don't know if he would defeat Glavatsky. That's an interesting one. Glavatsky to me is a a higher level than the other cruiserweight champions right now, in my opinion. I think Glavatsky is a tremendously underrated fighter. I would take him over Denis Lebedev personally, even though Lebedev has been around longer and is more accomplished. But we'll find out how good Glavatsky is in his next fight, because he's fighting Usyk, and that's another great fight. And I have a prediction video up for that fight already, and I'm actually going with Glavatsky to win that fight. I believe that fight's taking place in Poland, but a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people actually think that Usyk's going to win, but I'm going with Glavatsky. I think Glavatsky's going to win. I could be wrong. We'll see. But yeah, Denis Lebedev, he's in danger here. If he gets hit by this guy with either that straight right hand or the left hook, because those are the two danger shots here. If he gets hit with either of those shots, let's just say he's gonna be in trouble. He's gonna have to tuck up nicely, and he's gonna have to work on that defense. He can't take any risks in this fight, not with a guy this dangerous. Okay, this is gonna have to be vintage. Denis Lebedev. He's going to have to be vintage here. He's going to have to be his absolute best, the best that he's ever been, and he's going to have to perform better than ever, because this is certainly a fight that he slips up once, he gets knocked out. Simple as that. But if he stays on his game and he boxes smart and if he uses all that experience and he has a good training camp and he takes advantage of being the experienced man and maybe tries to confuse the guy with a southpaw stance, something like that, then he can pull the win off. I'm not making a prediction in this video. I'll probably do a prediction video if and when the fight gets signed, because obviously the fight isn't signed yet. We don't know if it's going to happen. It's just been ordered. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope this fight goes ahead. Let me know what you guys think. As far as the cruiserweight division goes, I'm thinking of making a video just about the cruiserweight division, because the cruiserweight division is my favorite division in boxing, and it doesn't really get that much press. But some of the best fights I've ever seen have been in the cruiserweight division. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'm out.